Gentlemen, I had a lot of fun talking college football, but I want to transition over now and move into professional basketball and the Cavaliers. The Cavs still maintain the best record in the NBA, but the question is, should they still make a move? There's rumors of Jimmy Butler, of LeBron swirling. So what pieces should they add, if any? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some players up, and I want you to tell me your thoughts on that player and whether or not we should make a move for them. And frankly, what would you give up for them? What are they worth? So I'm going to start with one, Jimmy Buckets Butler. It's currently with Miami. He is a stud. With this round, since Noah started off with all of our college picks, John, we'll start with you. Jimmy Butler, you buy in?
I'm going to say no. I love Jimmy Buckets. I think he's a great player. I think he's fantastic, but I think he's a little bit ball dominant. I think he's a guard forward, but he plays guard, and we already have a ton of guards. But more so than the skill set, because I think he's a unique talent. I think a team would be better usually. The thing that's interesting about the Cavs is that they seem to be doing it with teamwork and camaraderie and buy-in and cohesiveness. And I'm really worried about messing up the mojo for this team. It sounds crazy to say, like this time last year, I probably would have been all over this. Can Jimmy Butler come in and be 100% team guy, let Donovan Mitchell run the offense, run the ball through him, maybe be a Batman to his Batman, because he wouldn't really be a Robin. But if Jimmy Butler said, yeah, I buy in, I'm not going to be a menace in the clubhouse and everything's going to be Gucci, I say yeah, but it makes me nervous. I think I would say no just because of the chemistry thing, but no shade. Jimmy Butler's great.
All right, Noah, you give me your thoughts, because I'm surprised by that from John.
Yeah, my thoughts echo John's, but are even harsher. I'm going to go hell no.
Wow.
We have the best team in basketball right now, record-wise. We are playing offensively lights out, defensively lights out. If it isn't Mobley, it's Garland. If it's not Garland, it's Allen. If it's not Allen, it's Niang for some reason. Regardless of who's shooting, who's playing the best defense, you just don't break this with adding a player like Jimmy Butler, adding another ball-dominant player. You've seen this happen in the NBA far too many times. You've seen it happen relatively with LeBron and bringing in Westbrook and then bringing in every player they've brought into LA, and they've only amounted to one championship. We have the best record in the NBA right now, and you need to just keep running with it. You have 3, almost 4 players playing at an all-star clip. Keep it together and keep it pushing, because this team can do it without a big addition like Jimmy Butler.
I was going to say, ask the New York and the Milwaukee Bucks if just getting the best player available and throwing him on the roster always works out. I know they have time, and the Bucks are better, but
listen, I get your take. Basketball, more than probably any sport, is that sport where players need to mesh together. But we're talking about Jimmy Butler. This is a guy that has championship experience, that knows how to win a championship, that knows how to take a team on his own.
Did Jimmy Butler win a championship?
I don't know, but your look is making me question that.
You said this is a man who knows how to win a championship, and I was like, based on what?
Well, he knows how to take them to a championship. Fair enough. He knows how to take them there. I don't know. Does it seem crazy to swap Garland for Jimmy Butler? Yeah, yes. That seems crazy. Would I do it? Yeah, I think I would. I think I'm in.
Why?
Because there are few players in the league that are Jimmy Butler. And Garland's not one of them. I'll tell you that right now. I think he makes our team better. I think it's a risk. Yes. But I think it's a calculated risk. It's one of those moves where you guys might be right. Maybe the cohesion doesn't work, and then we're in a worse place. But maybe it does work, and that's the piece that puts us above, and we go on to win a championship. And the type of risks to get a championship are exactly that. They're risks. They're not always going to work out. But if it does, and that puts us above it, I know we have the best record, but that first game against Boston where we just looked lost, I go, man, we're still not quite there yet.
Did we look lost though, man? Because we cut that. we cut the lead. We lost by 2 by the end of it.
Yeah, I know, but
good teams
in
go
that
through
first half,
adversity, face it, and
all right,
buddy,
let's move on.
just
But I'm taking Butler.
No,
Second player.
no, you don't
second
get to
player,
just move on after saying you're going to blow up the core four and not let us respond.
You responded. You don't like it. I get it.
Right.
What more do you want to say?
Why?
Kyle Kuzma is our next pick.
Oh my God. You just put Kyle Kuzma's face over Noah.
Right.
Look at me. I am the host today. We're moving on. Kyle Kuzma is our next pick. Are you buying? John, tell me yes or no. Why? Give me two sentences.
John gets to go first twice in a row too now. Are you just
You went first on every college football pick, Noah.
You're the one who did the graphic, man. That's not my fault.
John, I want to hear your take.
I'll be quick. No. Kyle Kuzma doesn't make us a better championship contender than we are today. I'm not in the habit of making moves just to make them. This is a pass for me. And again, no disrespect to Cooch. I know he's a good player, but we don't. I don't know. Just no.
Okay, Noah.
I'm allowed to talk now.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. This is a move more in the wheelhouse of what I think they should do. Depends what you have to give up. If we're talking some second round assets and, like Craig Porter Jr., which I don't think it would be, I'd 100% do something like this to add some more scoring and some more size to this Cavaliers offense and defense for that matter. But, if we're starting to even talk about creeping up to Sam Merrill, George Niang, a lot of these players to me are untouchable unless it is a clear upgrade. And I don't see that happening in the open market unless teams are selling like it's the MLB trade deadline. So I'm going to go with maybe, depending on the ask.
So let me ask you this. He's a small forward. You take him before Strus, right? And I like Strus, don't get me wrong.
It's tough. I don't know about that just because Strus hasn't played yet with the injury. He was a big part of that scoring. It's tough. Kuzma isn't known for his defense. Neither is Strus to some degree. It's tough. You're talking tomatoes to tomatoes or whatever that saying is. That's just kind of where I'm at. Adding him, though, to add size makes sense.
Adding him to add size does make sense. I just think that we don't add him for the same reasons we already discussed. If you don't want to rock the boat with a clubhouse cancer and you would pass on Jimmy Butler, why chance it for Kyle Kuzma? Does adding him and removing Max Strus make us a championship contender?
Is Jimmy Butler a cancer? I've never heard that about
I'm just
him.
saying.
You're allowed to go back to Jimmy Butler, but if I want to question your take, we have to just move forward. Anyway,
what I'm saying, I'm not saying Butler is a cancer. I'm saying the reasons we said we wouldn't add a talent as high as Jimmy Butler is because we don't want to rock the boat of this cohesiveness. And if you wouldn't rock the boat for Jimmy Butler, why in God's name would you do it for Kyle Kuzma, where the return is far smaller? Just because he's a little bit better than Max Strus, that changes nothing about anything for this team. We can do the same thing with Kyle Kuzma that we do with Max Strus. Because if it's down to Kuzma and Strus, we're screwed. We need the big four to be the big four. So, it's just a move to make a move. Like, would I take him? Yeah, sure. If he says he won't cause an issue and we could trade him out for something other than the core four, like whatever if you want to. But what is it? Do you feel better about the Cavs the night you go to bed hearing we landed Kuzma and got rid of Max Strus?
I think Kuzma's a little bit more than a little better than Max Strus. I'll say that. I like Strus. Strus kind of limits what you can do on offense. I think Kuzma's a little more versatile.
How does Strus limit what you can do on offense?
I was going to ask that.
Because he's just he's more of a guy you stick. He plays the Kevin Love role, and that's not what we always need.
What is the Kevin Love role?
The stand and yak up a three.
That's exactly what the fifth option on a starting offense should be doing at that point.
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, I think you just get a little more out of Kuzma than you do out of Strus.
I didn't
say I'm buying this. I don't like him as our top prospect to go after. I'm just throwing out options here. I'm just spitting facts for you guys.
Continue on, man.
No, I want to talk about Kuzma a little more.
Oh, this
So
guy.
moving on.
It just feels like you're like packing up your entire house, putting your home on the market, selling it, and buying a new one for 80 more square feet and a half bathroom in the basement. This is a lot of work for not a lot of extra.
100%.
Brandon Ingram. He's a small forward for the Pelicans at the moment. I'm not sure. First of all, I do want to point out that Noah chose these images. I'm not sure why he chose this one. He's doing my boy Ingram dirty.
This is his 2024-2025 NBA headshot that is used on NBA.com, ESPN, CBS Sport. This is his fault, not mine.
They were not drug testing that week because my boy was rolling in there high as hell, is all I'm going to say to this picture.
They're allowed to smoke weed.
It is no longer a banned
substance. Yeah, it is, isn't it? All right. Brandon Ingram. Noah, since you whine so much, let's start with you. Are you
coming
buying?
From the king
Are
of
you buying,
himself?
Noah?
Can I talk? Am I allowed to talk?
Can you?
This guy, man. This guy. No, I'm not buying Brandon Ingram. Oh, this guy. No, I'm not buying Brandon Ingram because we're going to have to ship off a piece of the core four. And I am so adamantly against shipping off a piece of the core four after what we have seen through 2.5 months of baseball, 2.5 months of basketball. This team is legit. This team continues to win basketball games and finding ways to win. And there's no reason you should blow it up for a big piece like Brandon Ingram or Jimmy Butler. I will scream at the top of my lungs this fact. Go ahead.
John?
Yeah, I thought you were going to jump in. We're going to switch the order up. But no, I feel like Noah. Brandon Ingram's more interesting. Dude can score like 22, 23, 24 points a game. He's a decent three-point shooter.
He averages 22 a game.
Okay, there you go. So I wasn't talking out of my ass. It does make you wonder with that talent, like how this team has won like 3 games. But isn't Brandon Ingram hurt?
At the moment?
I thought he was busted up. He had like an ankle or something. And God, that's one of my pet peeves when people say he had an ankle. We all have ankles. He had an injured
Yeah, he's out right now with an ankle. You're correct.
Okay.
Good call. High grade, low left ankle sprain.
Wouldn't hate it. If we have to give up some of the core four, I say no. If we could get him for anything else, I wouldn't hate it. This is probably the best one so far. He's nowhere near as good as Jimmy Butler, but I think he could be a better fit systematically. Also, he plays the 3. He's like a pure small forward more so. So you don't have to worry about overlap, ball dominant guard thing that you would with Jimmy Butler. This is probably the most interesting. You add a guy like this, he does, if he gels with this team, he does significantly upgrade what we can do. I think I would still pass, but this is the first one you've popped up where I'm like, I could get behind this if I had to. I wouldn't do it if I were the GM, but I wouldn't hate it.
You guys know my take here. You know that I like him. You know that the 3 is a need that I think we should fill. Our only kind of weak spot on this team. That said, I mean, the idea of touching the core 4, as Noah calls it, absolutely not.
Nearly the core 4.
Nearly, I mean, nobody is really worth that for the most part. And Ingram certainly isn't either. But I don't know. Can we not get him for other pieces? I don't know the answer to that.
I think it's gonna.
I thought the Pelicans were trying to move him.
They're trying to blow up. It sounds like there's been some Zion rumors. So I'll retract my hell no to a firm no if it involves the core 4, to a potentially maybe, depending what pieces we have to give up. If we're talking Max Strus, a couple seconds, another first, because we've given so many to Utah, who cares about our first round picks at this point? Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, if you
How about
yeah, go ahead.
How about we talk about an old favorite here in Cleveland? A man who has ties through his dad, who was here, he was fan loved, a backup center in Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, I say yes.
No, Noah was ready. Let's hear it, buddy.
I'm 100%. I think this is the only move that truly makes the most sense. I think it's an affordable move to go out and get. This team needs some extra size on the bench. If there's a potential with Evan Mobley being out, we've seen that once already, or Jared Allen. We need some of that backup size, so we're not playing small ball with George Niang at the 4 or Strus at the 4, whatever that would look like. Bringing in a guy like Larry Nance, who is a solid backup center with ties to the city. I actually have a Larry Nance jersey, not senior, a Larry Nance junior jersey from his first stint here. I think it makes a lot of sense for filling a hole in a way that isn't disrupting too much. I think you can get away with some seconds, some prospects, lower level players like maybe a Craig Porter Jr. who isn't getting a lot of minutes right now, and filling it up that way. So that way we can get a good backup center for our playoff push.
Yeah,
I like it. I think you're absolutely right. You know what I want to see more than Larry Nance Jr. back? I want to see TT as more of an enforcer. The guy's got size. He knows the game. What we need is somebody to come in like Big Perk, and not take shit when we need that role. That's what I want to see. I think, yeah, Larry Nance Jr. would be a great backup, to your point, to help save some of the minutes, especially if some of our guys get hurt. But I want to see more of that enforcer role. I don't think we get that out of him, but I don't hate the pick.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think you could get him for nothing. It wouldn't affect the roster. You could do it on a financial transaction, probably, and get somebody to just unload some salary. And one thing that I did see out of this team, I'm hoping a lot of stuff that we've seen in the last 2 years with the playoffs doesn't come back with the Cavs this year, because that would be really bad. Like the whole Orlando, you need 7 games to get out of the first round thing. But I think we need guys who have size to eat fouls when teams have dominant centers. I think Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are really good and they're good defenders, but when you have to actually bang with a true big, we got in a little bit of foul trouble and had some trouble down low. And having another just big guy who can run with the second team and give you 6 fouls, so you don't have the Wagners scoring 80 points in the paint in a playoff series.
Those guys.
Or Kristaps Porzingis.
It's bedtime for the old man.
Old man's like, oh, what time? It's 10 o'clock already?
Take your Mucilex or whatever it's called, Mucinex.
Thank you both for being assholes. That is the alarm, so I remember to move the elf on a shelf.
Oh.
So I got to remember. Text me in 20 minutes and remind me to go down there and do that. We just need size. We need somebody who can eat fouls, who can bang down low, who can give us some toughness. I would love it if we could add him, because it doesn't change much.
All right. I got one more for you guys. He's a man in LA, but he's just a kid from Akron. He brought us our first ever championship to this city for the Cavaliers organization. One LeBron James. You guys buying? You selling? Give me your take.
No. I know you don't like me hedging in the caveats that I threw out with Ohio State, Tennessee, so you might not like this either.
You weren't hedging. You took Tennessee straight up. You were hedging on trying to make the bet afterwards with the dumplings.
Yeah, so like I said, you don't like the hedging. That's all I was saying. So you might not like this. I think if you can convince this team needs a 3. And if I could give up Isaac Okoro's spot and replace it with LeBron James, we're really on to something in terms of winning a title. The problem that I would see is if you get the Jimmy Butler kind of thing where LeBron comes here and he thinks the offense should still run through him even though he's 40, and he has a problem giving up some of the control to Donovan Mitchell, whose team this is now. If you could have a behind closed doors conversation to see if LeBron thinks he should still be the man or if he's willing to play Robin to a Batman, and he says yes, I think adding the best 3 in the history of the game to a team in need of a 3 is a winning recipe, and we could win for as long as LeBron is here and healthy. If LeBron's going to pound the ball and dribble for 22 seconds and chuck 30-footers and not flow in the offense that this team has been running, then I would say no. So that's a big caveat, but overall, yeah, I mean, if LeBron wants to come back to Cleveland, will play his part, absolutely, I'd take him back.
Yeah, my answer to this is no, because all of John's caveats are just simply not going to happen, as much as it would be fantastic if they would. LeBron James is still LeBron James. He's the greatest player in the history of the sport. And there's no way you're going to tell that man to take a back seat to this young core. On top of the fact that the optics with this trade would make no sense. He would have to be cut and picked up and signed for a vet minimum because we're 30 million into the luxury tax as it is. There's so many optics that goes back to you would have to trade a piece of the core for, and I am still adamantly okay with that, even if it is LeBron James at this point in time. I want to see this team, as much as I love LeBron, I am a huge LeBron fan. I am not a LeBron hater. I was going to say I never have been, but I was when he went to Miami. Loved him when he came back. Had no problem with him going to LA. I want to see them do it without him, man. I want to see us as a city be able to do it without this saving grace face that is the LeBron James and the LeBron James era in Cleveland. I'm ready to see us do it on a team built here, not from here. I don't know.
I don't think we in Cleveland have the option. I don't think Clevelanders can be picky to say, we're not just going to take a championship. Here's how we want to win it. We got to do one.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Had one in 60 years, bro. If LeBron comes
just
back,
want a championship.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I don't care who brings it. First of all, he is from here. Listen, my take is this. No, I don't want LeBron, but it's not for anything that you said. And the reason is I think he could take a back seat. He was ready to hand the keys over to Kyrie, let's not forget. Yeah. And then that we know how that went. I think he could do that. What I don't want is the circus that follows him. And the circus is a media circus, which is negativity when it comes to Cleveland. They'll lose 2 games and they'll go, oh my God, we got to trade everybody and go get, like you said, Jimmy Butler or something. And then what I don't like either is the LeBron, GM changing coaches, and I'm not happy with this coach, and let's bring in this player. That doesn't work. We've seen it doesn't work. Doesn't work in LA. It didn't work the second time around in Cleveland when he was doing that towards the tail end. That's exactly what I don't want. And that drama, listen, LeBron James is a dramatic guy. There's just no getting around it. He likes drama. He can't help but insert himself and be drama. That's going to follow. That's what I don't want. That's why I'm out, even if we got him for free. Well, maybe if we got him for free.
If we got him for free, you're taking him in a heartbeat. And if you're saying you're not, even me, who's adamantly against it and wants to see us do it in a different way and all of that, or whatever I said.
Free is nice. I will say this. One of my favorite things is when thinking about this and thinking about Donovan Mitchell and how he would react and what he would think. At no point did I think he'll want out immediately because he's not the star. Donovan seems like the guy that doesn't need that and just wants to help his team to win. And if we're winning and he's helping, everything's gravy. And that's what I love so much about D-Mitch. Yeah. And that's why I would love for this team to make a run, and I think they can. I get a little worried that we started so hot that it's inevitable we're going to cool off and we're just hot at the wrong time.
Well, we almost have to cool off. They only lost.
You would think, right? But I do think that we have a team built right now to vie for championships. I still don't know if we have a team that can win them.
So that's what I was going to say too. My concluding thought on this is my take on this entire segment that we did is interesting, and it was a great conversation. But if I could say anything for all of it, it would be I would love to have this conversation next year after we see what they do in the playoffs this year as assembled. Because the Cavs have a unique chance right now to dismantle the way the league works. Every 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, you go from big guys down low who can guard Shaq to threes and D to you got to sign a superstar to you got to get a big three. And the Cavs are proving that good ball movement and offense and having maybe not one guy who's in the top 10, but having 4 guys in the top 30 could be a recipe to success if everybody plays to their strong suit. I'd love to see what they can do to just debunk the myth that you got to get a superstar and 2 a megastar and 2 superstars to win a title. But if,
and that's more so what I meant by my take, right? Is that I want to see this team do what I think this team could do as soon as this season and win a championship without having to have one megastar on the team. And we're just a bunch of guys who really truly play good basketball together. And I say a bunch of guys like Donovan Mitchell isn't a star in this league, and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley aren't on their way, and Jared Allen hasn't been an all-star. You get what I'm saying. I think that's more so what I mean by that take, is the fact that I want to see them do it with this core group, because it has been so much fun just watching these guys, with maybe an addition of a guy like Larry Nance, to shore it up and end it there.
And the
I don't
Cavs going out of
disagree.
the
I mean, it would
playoffs
be
with
a
somebody like-
magical run. I agree with you. It would be so much fun. But every night I wish I'd win the lottery too. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. So if a star player puts us over the top,
the odds are a little different there, but I see what you're saying.
a little bit, but
there's a difference too. In the reason I said this season matters is if we go to the Eastern Conference Finals and push the Celtics to 7 games and lose a hard-fought series, it's different than the Bulls taking us to 7 games in the first round and losing to the Magic in round 2. Like, I got to see how this plays out before I can say what I'm willing to give up and what I'm willing to add. If Darius Garland averages 2, 2, and 3 for the playoffs again this year, and then you say you could trade him for Jimmy Butler, and be like, bro, like probably so, right? Like it's different.
At this point, though, I'm thinking a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals or bust. I'm not saying finals, but we should be making the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how that seeding works out, obviously. But
yeah, and
assuming we're not meeting Boston early.
Yeah, we got to see
it
how
should
Milwaukee
be us and
pans out.
Boston
They're
in the
playing
Eastern
great.
Conference for sure. Yeah,
I agree.
Have you guys watched the Bucks this year, though?
They're an X factor. I'll give you that.
they've gotten better since when we played them the first time around. I'm really excited for that game on Friday when we play them.
You know who else is a fraud? Not just James Franklin, but there's a coach that goes by Doc. And no, I'm not talking Bugs Bunny. Doc Rivers is a bit of a fraud in my mind. I was telling somebody this not too long ago, and he goes, yeah, that's a friend of mine. I was like, well, that's awkward, but he's kind of a fraud. I don't believe in Doc Rivers at all.
No, I think he sucks. I'm with you on that. I don't even think he's kind of a fraud. I think he's overrated, and his teams won despite him, not because of him.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're all still on that same page.